Wait. Yes, we are live. Hello and welcome. Welcome to our Educator series with me, Preethi Sunallinii. I'm a parenting coach and family therapist, founder of Integrated Parenting. And with me here is Roopa Kiran, founder director of Absorbent Montessori School, a Montessori trainer and special educator with over 22 years of experience. She's one of the very first few educators, in fact, to bring Montessori education at the elementary level in South Bangalore. And today we're going to be talking about something that many parents have asked me about, and I'm sure there are a lot of parents who are curious to know how is Montessori unique? How does Montessori differ from the traditional educational approaches? Especially in the last couple of years, alternative schooling methods have taken more like a tide. So many more people are talking about it. Many people are exploring other educational approaches, and I'm sure when we think about alternative educational methods, Montessori is right on top of everybody's mind. So today we want to be talking about what is Montessori, how is it different from traditional educational approaches, and why is it significant? What do we need to know in order to make a decision about whether it's right for our child? That's what we're going to be talking about. So, right at the start, so let's invite Rupa now to share with us what, according to you, makes Montessori unique. How does it differ?
Hey, Preeti. Hello, everybody, whoever is watching us right now. So, if I talk about method refers to the systematic way of working or systematic way of doing things, which Montessori is very famous for, you know. And unique, what is unique? Unique is it is child centric, it is the mixed age classrooms, and the system of working, and all this makes, and the prepared environment. All this makes a unique a unique method. Montessori actually is a gift that Dr. Maria Montessori, though it is 130-year-old method, it is still, it is still as fresh and as new, which cannot be changed at all. For instance, if we take a 2-year-old child, uh, all over the world, the psychology of the 2-year-old remains the same, irrespective of the country the child is from, America, Africa, Australia, anywhere the child is coming from, or irrespective of the cultural background or the language or whatever it is. And Maria Montessori never patented her work saying that you have to teach, though she's from Italy, she never told follow our culture. She gave this for the human well-being, to say for the human well-being, where she actually niched the path for all of us, and to see the world in a different perspective, to see, to bring in peace in life. And this happens only when we work with the child, so you become a good adult. That's what it is all about. So Montessori method is unique, for it is child centric. What is child centric? Here, this is not teacher led classroom. This is not teacher led classroom. This is child led classroom. That is unique, because the child comes in the morning, he or she comes in and they walk in, they see the material, the prepared environment, and they go choose what they want. This is leading to slowly becoming the child becoming independent. So even at home, like, parents my, oh, we are, the child is very independent, we have left him free and all that. Here there is freedom in the classroom, but the freedom is with limitation. What is that with limitation? Children will not know certain things, to cross, whatever it can be, like, um, uh, while the work is on, uh, jumping here, jumping there, or disturbing. craving for attentions, and all these things happen. But here,
Mm.
the order, once the child comes in, the child picking the material and taking the mat and spreading the mat on the floor and working, and the mixed age room classroom, mixed age group classroom. What is this about? Because there are children, 5-year-olds are there, 4-year-olds are there, 3-year-olds are there. So here what happens, a 3-year-old, when he enters the environment, a particular environment, so here he's absorbing the older children work, the way they are working, and the way they are moving around, the way they are spreading the mat. It's all about that.
Mm.
Even us as adults, you go to Ganesha Pendal and Ganesha festival, and if they start, all the band baja and all, you feel like dancing. Absolutely,
Mm.
yes. But when you go elsewhere, like say a pravachan or a bhajan or somewhere, the quietness, or if you enter a meeting room,
Mm.
enter a meeting room, you will know, okay, I'm not supposed to jump around or be. So this is what it is, human. It is
Mm.
human that you absorb your environment
Mm.
up to the age 6, from birth up to the age 6. It's called as absorbent mind.
Sure,
Why
sure. So we will go into the details of each stage for sure. Before that, to summarize all that you have said so far, what makes Montessori unique is one is that it is child centric. That's the first and foremost. It is not teacher led, it is child led learning. The second is the mixed age groups that coexist in a learning environment. Is that right? Yes. And the third thing that I heard you say was a prepared environment. So, which means while it is not teacher led from the perspective of an authority saying, okay, now come and sit here, now do this, do that, but the environment is prepared in such a way and maintained in such a way that it pulls the child to pick up certain activities or do something. Is that right? Okay, fantastic.
yeah.
If I can ask you a question here, when you say child centric learning, I'm sure this is a confusing term for many parents, simply because, mane la karta idare at home, children are playing. Like, okay, they're just learning by themselves, they're doing something by themselves. Even at home, it is child-centric learning only. What is this special thing that you're saying? Wherever they go, even in a regular school, teacher can only teach so much. No, finally, the child only has to learn. So, what do you mean by child-centric learning? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Child centric is, say, in a conventional learning system, uh, teacher has the index. It is the teacher's index where she has to prepare the lesson, and today she has to finish page 1, tomorrow she has to finish page 2, irrespective of the number of children in the class. It can be 25, 30, or whatever number it in the class. So she is bound to finish it.
Hmm.
But here in Montessori, why it is child centric is because here the child is supposed to finish. The teacher can do 10 times
Okay.
the same activity, can be presented, represented. But until the child is done with the activity, the index will not be ticked. So here, each child will have their own index, learning index. They'll have their
Wow.
own learning index, and based on the developmental stages. Montessori is all about based on the developmental stages, where each child, like our fingers, like how it is not equal, all children are different. If it
Mm.
was not so, if everybody was the same, all of us would have been in moon, or all of us
Mm.
in one place. It is not like that here, because it is important to vary. It is important. It is important because we need all, from all strata, from all, we need all kinds of skills. Until the child comes to middle school, high school, or whatever, we will not know what the child is going to choose. It's his
Mm.
choice. But here, parents will, everything is his choice. How is that? Everything is, we want to make the choice. No, because who are we? Because We have
Absolutely.
given birth to the child. Child never asked for a parent. So that is where our responsibility lies. Because child never asked, you be my
So
father or mother.
beautiful, Rupa. This is literally the inverse of what we have been taught learning should be like, right? We have parents. I can't tell you the number of times I've had parents who would come extremely worried. My child is still not writing. My child still can't tell the tables. My child still can't do this. So here, the reason they have this is because according to the neighbor's child का classroom, उनके school में, उनके classroom में, उनके teacher ने, they have already gone ahead over here. The other children are getting these kinds of homeworks. It is not about whether other children are able to do it. It is about whether for this child the concept has been observed
Yes.
and absorbed,
Yes.
not observed,
Yes.
absorbed. So that is
Absorbed.
what you focus on. So
Yes.
when you say child centric versus teacher centric is where teacher has a curriculum ki I need to complete
Teacher.
this, and
Yes. Yes.
versus child centric is where is the child able to internalize this, and this. So in a traditional approach, there is one index sheet for the teacher, but in a child centric room, there is one index for every child in the
Every.
classroom.
Yes. Exactly.
My
Exactly.
God, that makes it so much more complex. But I
Yes.
also see that it's very, very unique. It's
Yes.
very
Yes.
unique. The learning curve of every child is going to be absolutely unique. So that's really amazing. Now, you also said it is a prepared environment. Let's say a classroom has about what 20 children, 25 children, right? uh, 25 children with 25 learning indexes and you have one single prepared environment.
Yeah.
What does that mean? How does this really gel?
See, that is the beauty of the training. So when an adult gets trained, we don't call teachers, we call adults actually. When adults get trained, you know, so like I am from an art background with psychology and a lot of things with me. Though I love math, science, and all that, I do love all that geography, history, all this I do love. So when I learnt math because I was, as I told, art and psychology student. So it was like for me a 360-degree turn when I
Mm,
learnt math, Montessori training. It was 360-degree turn for me, and every unit was there, and every 100 square was there, and every 1,000 cube was there, which I had never even.
you mean physically
Yes,
there is a
physically it
physical
was so
cube to
present.
replicate?
Yes, I had seen that only on the paper which was printed or on the board where my teacher had written. Yes,
Unit
never
P
ever.
U T H.
Exactly. So never ever I had not held that 1,000 or 100 or whatever. And this is what makes it beautiful. This is sensorial learning. It is completely sensorially you're learning. Like even today when we are with regard to swimming or cycling or anything, cooking, when you're cooking, when you're adding salt, you know exactly when you're holding the salt and putting it in your sambar or whatever
Mm,
you're adding. So you will know exactly this much salt it needs. Why? Because you're feeling it sensorially. Swimming and cycling and all, lifelong you will not forget. You can't forget. So this sensorial learning is also exactly, Montessori is all about sensorial learning. We are learning through all the senses. So in conventional, what happens is one is visual, one is auditory. These are the two senses I feel. I don't know if you feel this and this. These are the two senses usually we use for learning. But the child needs to paddle, like, speak. The child needs to keep expressing. Expression is the most wonderful thing a human can get. If a human can really express himself, that is nothing like it. As you go older, middle age, old age, whatever, if you have good expression, you are a very good adult, because you socialize beautifully, because we are social creatures, we can't be isolated. So here, even that social aspect with the age classroom plays a grand deal. It's a grand deal, with all the three, because usually in conventional they have only 9-year-olds in one class, 10-year-olds in one class, 11-year-olds. This is how it goes. Two 3-year-olds in one class and all that. But they're not, when they come out in the field and other things, okay, fine. But the learning happens vertical there completely. The learning happens completely vertical, where here in Montessori everything is like, learnt one bit at a time, one bit at a time. So at the age of 6 you can see the whole of the child, the formation, the whole formation of the child. That is what we see, and that's the beauty of it. When this Montessori, I would like to say one more thing is, when you're born with lot of relations with you, whether you want it, you don't want, you're born with sisters, you're born with brothers, you're born with, lot of relatives and relations and all that. But what happens is, even the language you speak, it is absorbed sensorially. It is absorbed. It is absorbed sensorially. Where, the language is learned, imbibed automatically. The language is imbibed automatically. But even the learning in Montessori happens in the similar manner. The learning Montessori tells that the child holds 100, he should feel it. Then he will count. Today he might not count. Tomorrow he will 100% he will count. But some are a little slow, some are a little fast. Everywhere it is there. But at the end of the day, it is his work. Like how we learn mother tongue, how mother tongue is all imbibed. Are you going to sit and teach? No, nobody is going to sit and teach. You learn, our mother tongue is Tamil, our mother tongue is Kannada, our mother tongue is English. You learn English, you learn. No, we are not teaching. The child is imbibing it, the child is absorbing it. And the beauty of the human child is, the child can learn up to 6 languages by the age of 6. Automatically, the child, wherever he adapts it beautifully. It's only the adult, the child adapts beautifully. It's only the adult who is like, weighing this. It should be more organic. Nowadays I see, for 22 years I'm here, I'm seeing my first batch parents and now parents. We do, there are like, parents who are there. Then also we had a difficult parents, where they were so concerned, worried, which is not required. Now they're all 25, 26 year old. When I meet, I tell them, see, this is what it is. Why were you so worried 20 years back when I saw you? I kept telling you, don't worry, it is fine. Then look at your child, he's grown up beautifully. First thing is, the child needs to be a good human. Reading, learning comes automatically. The reading and learning, writing comes. We need language for expression, and the script to write the expression. Our expression. I want to express something. Language is man made. Language is absolutely man-made, isn't it? So that phonetically, all the materials which is spread in the environment helps the child, pick up the vocabulary and the joy for learning, especially in Montessori, the joy of learning. Next day they will be prepared. Tomorrow I'll do this material, and they come, in case somebody is working, they'll just wait for the other child to put the material back. The order. This brings lot of order and discipline. The child learns to wait with patience. You can see in the environment, absolutely standing in one corner, because because morning the child has come with a lot of joy, that I want to pick this material. See, this is how it is. So where the child is learning at the same time to wait, which we don't see now. We are losing patience. But here in Montessori environment, the child learns to be more patient, and being in the group, and joyfully enjoying the learning along with the peers. And the child is going and sitting with this 5-year old, where this 5-year old is doing next level activity, say in math, or it can be golden bead the dynamic part material, or the language, the movable alphabets, or the sentence framing. This child knows. A 3-year-old goes, and the child is observing and sitting. See, that itself, it is passive learning. It is passive learning. The learning is happening at the same time. A 3-year-old is grasping as early to a Montessori school. The learning is faster. That is what I have seen. Nowadays, children who come a little early, I have seen them, progressing. a little
Mm,
faster, where because they're seeing their peers and the older children doing the work, and they're imbibing, they're absorbing all that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, a lot of things that you said right now has been, I'm sure, is quite fascinating for many people who are listening, right? We started with why is the prepared environment important, or and you also brought in the whole mixed age group aspect. And I remember you mentioned about how math being tangible. See, math exists in language technically, right? So what is two? Show me two in the world out there. You can't show. You can show two pens. You can show two glasses, but two you can't show out there. So technically, math is very abstract because it exists only in language for human understanding. But Montessori is able to make it tangible. That's what I'm hearing. Is that right?
Exactly, exactly,
And
exactly.
that is what makes the learning so much more deeper. And you're
Yes.
absolutely right in bringing up the number of senses that we use. I'd like to introduce something called as the cone of learning. I'm sure you would have heard of that, right, Rupa? So cone of learning, this is for the audience, is basically when we only hear a lecture, the teacher is standing in front and speaking, hardly 5% of that actually ends up being retained. The whole idea of learning is to retain information. You just heard is not learning. You're able to listen and vomit an answer is not learning. The fact that you're able to listen, process, and retain the information, internalize that information, is what makes that learning. Now, lecture as in listening is one sense. When you club it with two senses, your ability to retain information goes up to 10%. You involve three senses, it goes up to 20% to 30% at the most. The more number of senses we involve, it keeps going up. But how many senses do we have? Five. Beyond that, how do we ensure that a child is able to, or even us as humans, are able to retain information beyond 50% is by engaging with that content. That is where expression is such a beautiful word that you used here,
Mm.
right? Where the child is asking questions, talking about it is probably one way where the child is teaching another child. You also said where a 3-year old is watching a 5-year old doing something. That's where the mixed age group comes in. So a 3-year old is learning from a 5-year old, and a 5-year old has the opportunity to teach something. And I can't tell you, this also brought up the emotional aspect for me, emotional and mental aspect for me, what it can do to the child's self esteem. Whereas a 5-year old, I'm teaching another child, isn't it? And that is something that you so beautifully connected together over here. Thank you. Thank you for that. One question that I would like to ask you now is, in Montessori, one of the primary things that you focus on is to ensure that a child has to be a good human first. Everything else will follow.
Follows.
That is one of the statements that you made.
Yes,
What
yes.
do you mean by that? How does, because from the way I see it, and I'm sure a lot of parents will also, resonate with this question, they are teaching math using pen and paper, you're using teaching math with materials. They are teaching, let's say, geography with again pen and paper and a lecture, but you're probably using a map and a puzzle and all of these things. So this is activity based but still academic. Where is the good human coming here as compared to other methodologies? What do you mean by that? Could you share a little bit about that,
Okay.
please?
So it doesn't mean that, the other side, See, first is everything comes from home first.
Mhm.
Mane modala patashale. This is,
Mhm.
I would rather say this, because a
Mhm.
lot of things come from home. Because the child for 2 years or 2.5 years is at home, the preliminary learning, lot of learning happens from home based on the environment you provide for the child. First is that. Okay. Then comes the child is stepping out of the house. Now the child is all ready to go out, want to make friends, want to socialize, because we are social beings. And this is innate nature of the child to come out and socialize and wanting to make friends and play with them and all that. See, when I say the prepared environment and the Montessori discipline, especially, plays a great role here. So, as I told, when the child comes in, he spreads his own mat to sit and work. Here, no helper is helping. No teacher is giving the child a mat to spread. Come, I will spread for you. You sit here and work. No, no one is commanding. The child will choose his place to sit and his material to work. He will choose his material and his activity to work with. So, this brings in a
So
lot of
definitely have
strategy.
to ask you, how do you make that happen? How can a child walk in and say, okay, now I'm going to go pick up a mat
Yeah,
and
they
I'm
do it.
play? How?
That is
How do you do
that
that?
is the beauty.
How
That is
does
the
that
beauty.
happen?
I don't know. That is the beauty of Montessori. We give, like, we have circle time and all that. There we give presentations, and where teacher shows the child, how to roll, and the intricate movements. These are all so important, and the child's hands are still so petite, and the child is still, that fine motor, gross motor is not at there, and it's such a beauty to watch at the same time. And here, when you're doing your own work, so you're proud of yourself and
Mm-hmm.
you're confident of yourself. Once you're confident, you're disciplined automatically. You, the structure comes in, the order comes in, the thinking comes in, and everything, you become independent, because you're from day one. The Montessori environment provides that kind of freedom of movement, freedom of choice, and freedom of speech. These are the three ingredients in Montessori classroom. So the child can move around wherever
Can you
the
repeat
child
that?
wants.
Freedom of thought.
Freedom of movement, freedom of
Okay.
speech,
Mm.
and freedom of choice.
Okay. Freedom of movement, speech, and choice.
Choice, yes. These are the three freedom, which
Okay.
is not possible in a conventional setup. See, there is a lot of things are there, pros and cons. But here, what happens is, because of this, the child is more confident, because the
Mm.
child is coming up every day and thinking, I want to do this, and this, and this, and and that is how it goes. Especially in elementary, from grade one, they have journal, something called journal. In the morning, they come and write their journal. How was the day? Beautiful. And today, they will write in the journal that what are the activities they are going to do. Activities, in the sense, it is not like puzzles and games. It is about the work they do. We call it as work. We don't
Mm.
call it as study and all that. We call it as work. So we ask the child also, are you done with your math work? Are you done with your
Mm.
whatever language? What is that you have chosen today? And they will write, morning, I'll do Kannada, I'll do math today. And they will write themselves, and I'm going to do mobile alphabets, whatever it is there, especially the 6 year olds. From the age 5, once they start writing and all that, we try to encourage them orally to say, and certain things, and gradually push them for doing their own things, mentioning their own writing and all that. Here in elementary, this happens, where they have journal, they need to mention whatever it is. Morning, they come, the 10 minutes, they think, and they go to the places, they check the material and all that, they sit and write. Actually, they write. And this is experience, and which I'm sharing is true, and which we have seen in the classroom. I don't know what happens at home, but in the classroom, this happens. And parents do say, what is it that they do here? Why at home it is like, a little otherwise? But we don't know.
Mm.
This is how it is. But the prepared environment, as I told, this is what brings in the discipline and the patience. When you're satisfied internally working, when your soul is satisfied working,
Mm.
so that is where the peace comes in. You're angry,
Mm.
you go wash something, so you'll feel peaceful. Isn't it? As adults, that's what we do. We go wipe here, wipe there. We don't know for what we are doing it. But the peace, internal peace, comes through work. You
Mm.
need to work. Or sometimes some children will sit and observe for 1 day, 2 day, and third day they start working. Because we have children, when they come at the age of two, 2.5, crying, and they take time. So we leave them. But parents are worried whether, should I, what is this, man? They're not doing anything, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and all that. We tell you, just leave them. Because this child is not simply sitting there. The child is
Hmm.
observing everybody and absorbing himself, like what all is happening. And in no time, in a month, the third 3 months, if the child is sitting, the fourth month, he will learn like this.
So you give
Without
time even for 3 months for the child to just
sitting,
sit
yes, the
and
child, no
watch,
problem.
not
No,
engage in
yes,
activities,
not
not go
required.
do
Not
anything.
required. Not required. Not required at all. If the child is reluctant, if we will give the child some space and time, give the child space and time. And we need to sit and talk and talk and talk and talk. This is what we need. Sometimes we are firm. It is not that we simply go on and all that. We need to be firm. We need to be certain places. We have to be firm where we feel, things might go out of hand or whatever. We need to be firm at certain places. And we talk to the child. This is how it is. This is the rule. And this is how it is structured. And how about being here or whatever, doing this. That is how
Now,
it
the
is.
fact that you said for 3 months the child doesn't want to do anything, we let them sit,
Ah, yeah.
can, like you said, be interpreted as what is this for 3 months? They just leave the child to do nothing. What kind of structure do you have then? Right? But you also said there are times that you have to be firm. How do you know when to be firm and when do you give that extra space for them? Okay, I should say extra, when do you give them that space?
Yeah. See, now the thing is, there is circle time happening, and the internal classroom things are happening. The child is sitting and observing, it's fine. Because all the time I want to be in the play area
Hmm.
is a little difficult for us
Hmm.
also. Yeah. So that time will be a little, we'll tell that we will finish this, you just sit and watch what we are doing, and then we will go.
So even
There
if
we
you
are
don't
firm.
want to do anything, you don't want to engage, it's okay, but you got to
You
be
just
here
sit and
and watch.
watch what we are doing. You just sit and watch what we are doing. This is what we are
Okay.
doing. Presently, there is one child. It's been 2 months. This is what we are doing. She comes and, but we know that she's very intelligent. We know that she's very quick and all that. But the thing is, the detachment, that takes a little more time for some children. It's absolutely fine if the child is crying or whatever. It's okay. They'll overcome it. They'll overcome it. And they'll become stronger people. Don't think that my child is crying now and they'll become psychologically ill and all that. All this is, so many things. Watching so much on, online and stuff like that. This
Got that.
that is not required. It need not be like that all the time. Until and unless there is an issue with the child or there is really some problem and all, we can work towards that. Other than that, give space and time. This child is
Absolutely.
learning
Especially at
passively.
2, 2.5, I mean, if I had to talk as a parenting coach and family therapist, 2, 2.5 may, of course, there's going to be separation anxiety. The child knows no other world other than being with the parent and the, primary caregivers, whoever was with the child. And suddenly I'm in a new space is going to be hard. And that transition way, there is going to be a lot of tears and pushback and all of that. And in fact, a lot of what you were saying was reminding me of my son in your space. For those of you who are watching, my son goes to Rupa's school as well. That's pretty much how I know her. And to just share a little about him, I think for I don't know how many months, Rupa has sent
Oh,
me
look at
videos
him
and
now.
photos.
Yeah.
Maybe sitting in one corner. Come join circle time. No, you do.
Oh,
I will watch.
it was like
Right?
that. Yeah,
That's so funny.
exactly.
The more I listen to what you're saying, I can see the significance of the prepared environment. And one of the things that we teach, even for adults, is that the environment is stronger than the will. Like, no matter what you do, you are very clear. I am going to go on a diet starting today. Tomorrow afternoon, you walk into the kitchen, you see this big jar of cookies. My God,
Yeah.
how hard it is. Even for us as adults at 20, 30, 40, 50, the same thing. Imagine your partner, your children, your as a family, you're going into, healthy eating, healthy lifestyle. It's so much more easier to follow that, right? You tend to follow what people around you are doing. And that is such an unconscious thing, and this pretty much all that you've said pretty much demonstrates that, right? And that way, yes, I totally get when you say that these Montessori principles are universal and this is absolutely child centric.
Centric.
What I specifically really I'm going to take away from this conversation is that the what our children are doing in school, it's not studies. Right? I love how you use the word work. You know what that says? I go for work, Papa has his work, and the child has their work, and learning is their work, right? And when they complete what they do, what they've got to do by themselves, one, there is an order because it's a prepared environment.
Okay.
The the environment is such that it creates the space for patience, and automatically when the child is able to do certain activities by themselves without being interfered, without being blamed, without being pushed and forced and coerced and criticized,
Yes.
they retain the fun, curiosity, and the enthusiasm. And when they're able
Brilliant.
to complete it, there is a sense of satisfaction, and it is
Satisfaction.
the
Yes.
satisfaction that brings pride. And that pride is what gives them peace, right? And that was such a beautiful statement that you made when you said it is this peace that creates confidence in themselves, and confidence brings discipline. For
Yes.
all the parents out there who are worried, how do I discipline my child? The lack of discipline is a lack of confidence. The more I think about it, I think this is my aha moment in this conversation with you. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. As we come to an end, it's easily about 40
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
As we come to an end, I also want to circle back to this point where you said freedom of movement, speech, and choice are the
Choice.
pillars of
Yeah.
the Montessori approach.
Yes.
But it's not always possible to do it everywhere. It's not possible to do it in all kinds of setups. But you also brought it up that Montessori comes from home education. Now, somewhere, how does the child learn at home from birth? The absorbent mind was one of the stages that you spoke about. So, I think in the next session, it would be worthwhile for us to go into how to bring Montessori into our homes. Since it started at home, I'm sure it is possible to bring it into our homes. So, let's talk about how can we bring Montessori into our homes, and in that process we will also go into the various stages of development through the eyes of Montessori. I'm sure that would be helpful for the parents. Does that make sense, Rupa?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well
All right,
said, Preeti.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been
Thank you.
really enlightening, exciting for me as well to have this conversation with you. Thank you for joining me so much.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to share?
Um, Teach, teaching, not correcting. This is one of the quotes from Maria Montessori. Keep thinking.
Repeat that. Teach.
Teach,
Can you repeat
teaching,
that
not
statement?
correcting.
Teach,
Teach,
teaching, not
teaching,
correcting.
not correcting. You keep thinking
Mm,
on this.
yeah, I'm going to write this down. Teach, teaching. And if you're seeing me bending down
Yeah.
and writing, I'm
How to
literally
teach
taking
without
notes.
correct. Yeah. Let them think.
Okay.
Because I have heard this for 20 years now. Like, what parent.
I'm going to
No,
come back, circle back to this. And as the audience, if you heard us talk today, I hope you enjoyed this session. I'm sure you would have a lot of questions bubbling up for you, your own thoughts that would have come up for you as you heard this conversation. Please do share with us what you think. Put it down here in the comments below, and we would be very happy to come back to you and respond through the chat itself. And if there's anything that we can bring into the next session, we'd be happy to do that as well. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much, Rupa, also for
yeah.
joining us today. And
Thank
we
you.
will come back live here on Monday, same time at
Yes.
8 p.m.
Thank you.
Take care.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.